Hi, and welcome to the final video of Building Better Mentors. This is video 6, Turning Teachers into Early Childhood Leaders. Over the past 5 videos, we've talked about what it means to be a mentor, how to build trusting relationships, how to use questions to support reflection, how to help teachers work through challenges, and how to give feedback that supports growth. Now we're going to put all of those ideas together, because mentoring isn't about having a perfect conversation or using just one strategy. It's about helping another teacher grow over time. And as mentors, we have the opportunity to support teachers to become more confident in their current role, as well as develop as professionals and future leaders. One of the first things to remember is that professional growth doesn't look the same for every teacher. One teacher may want to become more confident managing their classroom. Another may want to improve their relationship with families. Another may be interested in taking on a leadership role. As mentors, our job isn't to decide what the teacher's goals should be. Our goal is to help them identify what matters to them. Sometimes professional growth begins with helping a teacher recognize their strengths. New teachers can be pretty hard on themselves. They may compare themselves to more experienced teachers and feel like they're not good enough. A mentor can help put that into perspective. You might say, "I know you feel like you still have a lot to learn, but I've noticed how well you've built relationships with the children in your classroom." Or, "You've become much more comfortable talking with families since you started. What do you think has helped you develop that confidence?" Helping someone recognize their progress can be just as important as helping them identify what they need to improve. Once a teacher identifies an area they'd like to work on, a mentor can help them turn that into a goal. The teacher should have a voice in deciding what they want to work toward and what success will look like. A teacher might first say, "I want to get better at managing transitions." Instead of telling the teacher what their goal should be, you can help them narrow it down by asking, "What part of transitions would you most like to improve?" And the teacher could decide, "I want to make our transition from outside play to lunch more organized." From there, you can help them think about what they want to try and how they'll know whether it's working. You can ask, "What strategy would you like to try? What would success look like? When should we check in again?" When teachers are involved in creating their own goals, these goals become more meaningful to them, and they're more likely to take ownership of the goal and follow through with it. Growth doesn't always happen quickly. Sometimes the teacher may work on the same skill for weeks or months before they feel confident. That's why mentors should pay attention to progress, not just the final outcome. Maybe the teacher still struggles with transitions, but they're calmer than they were a month ago. Maybe they aren't completely comfortable talking with families yet, but they've started initiating conversations instead of avoiding them. These small steps may not feel like major accomplishments, but they show that the teacher is moving forward. As mentors, we can help teachers recognize and build on that progress, even when they haven't reached their final goal yet. Small changes matter, and when we point them out, we're helping teachers see that growth is a process. Mentoring can also help teachers begin to see themselves as leaders. Leadership in early childhood doesn't only mean becoming a director or administrator. A teacher can demonstrate leadership by supporting a colleague, sharing an idea, advocating for children or families, participating in professional learning, or helping improve something within their program. As a mentor, you can encourage teachers to recognize these opportunities. You might ask, "What is something you're really passionate about in this field? Is there an area where you'd like to take on more responsibility? What is something you could share with another teacher?" Helping someone see themselves as a leader is the first step toward them actually becoming one. Another thing I want to emphasize is that mentoring isn't just about the growth of the teacher being mentored. The mentor will grow too. Every teacher we support has different experiences, perspectives, strengths, and challenges. If we're willing to listen, we can learn from them as well. Sometimes the teacher we support will teach us something we didn't expect to learn. They may challenge our thinking, introduce us to a new approach, or help us see a situation differently. Being a mentor doesn't mean that you've reached a point where there is nothing left to learn. It means that for a long time you will be learning alongside the people you support. Now let's take a minute to think about everything we discussed in the first 5 videos. We started by asking, what does it mean to be a mentor? And we learned that mentoring is about more than giving advice. It's about supporting another teacher's professional growth. And then we talked about building trust. Without trust, teachers may not feel comfortable asking questions, sharing challenges, or taking risk. We also talked about asking good questions and finding the balance between sharing our experiences and helping teachers develop their own solutions. We talked about supporting teachers through challenges without taking over and fixing things for them. The goal is to help teachers work through difficult situations so they build their own confidence and become more comfortable finding solutions on their own. And finally, we talked about giving feedback that is specific, respectful, and focused on growth. Each of these elements is an important piece of effective mentoring, and when we bring them together, they create a strong foundation for supporting teachers. Listen, build trust, ask questions, share your experience, support problem solving, give meaningful feedback, and encourage growth. You don't have to be the perfect mentor to put all these ideas into practice. You just need to be intentional about how you support the teachers around you. For your final activity, I'd like you to create one mentoring goal for yourself. Think back over this whole video series and ask yourself, what is one thing I want to do differently as a mentor? Maybe you want to ask more questions before you give advice. Maybe you want to become more comfortable giving feedback. Or maybe you want to do a better job recognizing and celebrating teachers' strengths. Choose one area to focus on, and then complete these 3 statements. I want to improve. One thing I will try is, and I will know I'm making progress when. Now write your goal down and keep it somewhere where you can see it, and then check back in with yourself in a few weeks. Now that we're at the end of the Building Better Mentors series, I hope you take away one important idea. You don't have to have all the answers to make a difference in another teacher's career. Sometimes what a teacher needs most is someone who will listen without judgment, ask a thoughtful question, share their experience, recognize their strengths, and remind them that they are capable of growing. Mentoring can happen in everyday moments, like during a conversation in the hallway after a difficult day, while reflecting on something that happened in the classroom, or when someone simply needs to know that they don't have to figure everything out on their own. By being intentional in these moments, we can create stronger support systems for teachers and help build a stronger early childhood workforce. Thank you for taking the time to be part of Building Better Mentors. And remember, effective mentors don't turn teachers into carbon copies of themselves. They help teachers grow to become the best version of themselves. I'll see you later.